Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is PJ, and today I'm going to talk about a book that is very near and dear to my heart, and it's something that is way beyond just a book. This is really a life path that, if it catches your interest, it might be something that you want to consider, look into, and see if it's something that is a right fit for you. The book that I want to talk about today is called A Course in Miracles, and this is the spiritual path that I personally walked down on, and it's the book, the spiritual text that, out of all the spiritual texts that I've studied, it was the one that spoke the most profoundly to me and completely changed the course of my life, changed my spiritual trajectory, so to speak, since I found it, which was literally January 2017. That's when I started reading it, that's when I started studying it, and I became a student of it. And ever since then, I've only fallen more and more in love with this path, with this text, and have only grown more to be amused by the profound wisdom that's contained within it. It's only made me be more into it versus tired of it as time has passed on. And so it's something that I wanted to share with you because I know that it's not super well known comparatively to a lot of other paths, but it's one that might just be the right one for you. So I felt called to share about it. It's something that I love, and in most of these videos that I make here, I want to just talk about things that I found helpful, that I love, and that might be helpful for you. So let's just go into what the Course in Miracles is. So, A Course in Miracles, first of all, that's like a funny name, a course that teaches you miracles. But miracles, as the Course in Miracles defines them, is a change of mind. And when you really think about it, when you start seeing something differently than you did just a moment before, it's like a miracle, like something completely shifted, your perspective completely shifted. Something and someone that you saw as bad, now all of a sudden you're seeing them in a new light. That's what the Course in Miracles in a nutshell calls a miracle. It's a change of mind. What the Course in Miracles itself is, it's three books that usually you buy in a combined volume. The three books are the first book being the text, or yeah, that's what the Course in Miracles calls it. It's the text of the Course. It's about 650 pages or something like that, and it's very dense, somewhat abstract, but it lays the foundation for the spiritual principles of the course. This is the let's say this is, I mean, I don't know how else I was trying to find a good metaphor to compare it to, but this is just a text. So this sets the foundation. It says this is what this book is about. These are the principles, these are the abstract ideas. Then, in order to bring it down to practical level, because no spiritual path, and this is actually a reason why I love this spiritual path, is because no spiritual path is complete until it's practical, until it's applicable to day-to-day life. And Course in Miracles, from every path that I found and studied, I've never seen one that is this applicable to daily life on a day-to-day basis because of this element of the course. It has this second part that's called the workbook for students. And this workbook for students has 365 lessons, for one for each day of the whole year. So you literally can start, you know, whenever in a year when you buy the book, you can start one lesson a day, and like you can let that lesson work on you, you can practice it, and you can really have those lessons repeat, for the rest of your life. So you do it 365 days in a row. Next year you start again and you start again, or you find one lesson that really speaks to you, and that's a good mantra. These lessons are like a very small phrase. So for example, I am still as God created me. So that's a lesson title. And then it has some description. But what you do throughout the day, you repeat that kind of mantra, so to speak, that phrase that reminds you of spiritual truths almost instantly. The text underneath that lesson title obviously explains, when it says I I am still as God created me. What does the Course mean by that? And then it has you pondering those lessons, that lesson for the day, throughout the day. And it encourages you to apply that lesson that you read in the morning to everything that happens throughout that day. And I found this to be honestly miraculous. No pun intended. It's truly amazing how your life is your spiritual school. And everything that happens in your life can be an experience that your spirit uses to teach you more about its nature and your true essence and your true nature, your spiritual nature. And so one of the reasons, as I suggested earlier, that I really wanted to talk about the Course in Miracles is because of the practicality of it. It's because of the workbook. It's because how easy it is to incorporate this spiritual path into your life. And when I said easy, by no means are these like super easy things to actually put into practice. But I guess a better word would have been to say simple. It's a very simple methodology. The third section is what's called Manual for Teachers. And basically, the Course really is a big proponent for spiritual experience. It says that any spiritual path, especially in the modern day, it should be leading to a spiritual experience, meaning that like you don't just memorize a lot of theology and a lot of concepts, but you actually genuinely are led into a spiritual experience that once you have it, it profoundly changes who you are from within. And from that day forward, in a sense, you become a teacher of the experience that you have for other people. So the Manual for Teachers is really for people who have gone through the text, who have gone through the workbook, and as a result of doing the workbook every day, or maybe even like for a whole year or 2 years, eventually they've had this spiritual experience that the Course is trying to help us have. And the spiritual experience is one of oneness, is one of feeling the love of divinity for us, is one of true forgiveness, and a true belonging that the Course and all the prophets of all times really wanted to have us have those experiences. But so often what happened in a lot of religions and in a lot of spiritual paths is that the theology took the place of that personal experience. The theology, the concepts became the thing that you have to think about the most and really like focus on the most, rather than like, okay, are these leading me into a spiritual experience of divinity, which then transforms you from inside out. And from that point forward and every day henceforth, you become a teacher of those concepts by being the lessons embodied. And it's one of those things that you just have to experience really to just see the impact that these daily lessons of the Course in Miracles can have on you. So the Manual for Teachers is when you've had that spiritual experience, you've transformed from inside out, and then other people, your brothers, every people you encounter, sometimes they either you might take on a formal teacher role, so to speak, but oftentimes it's just you start embodying a new level of joy, a new level of peace, and naturally other people see that and want that, because those are obviously desirable states that every human yearns for. So when they see that in you, they might have questions, and the Manual for Teachers is really to help you explain these teachings of the Course and specific questions that students might have, or your fellow humans might have, fellow brothers and sisters might have. It helps you answer those by having very like specific questions. In the Manual for Teachers, it says, what does it mean when somebody says, life after death or something like that? And then it'll explain, what does that mean? What does it say? Or, it has, I think, like 20 something chapters. They're all relatively short chapters. So the Course, I would say this text part is like probably the biggest part. And then the workbook is like a little bit smaller section. And then the manual is even smaller than that. So that's the Course in Miracles in a nutshell. But the reason I wanted to make this video is because I wanted to share about why I love it and hopefully maybe that serves someone who stumbled upon this video because they either are thinking about trying out the Course in Miracles, looking into it, or have maybe never heard of it but stumble upon my video somehow, whether by watching my other videos and then clicking on this one or whatever it might be. If you're watching this video, I just wanted to talk about why I love this path, this course, and hopefully that sparks something within you to maybe go check it out and see if it's something that calls to you also. The Course in Miracles, like I said, the practicality of it, the way you can apply it to day-to-day life far surpasses anything I've ever come across, and it truly turns your life, every single day of it, into a spiritual experience. Another thing about the course that I love is that it's not so much like a solo path. It constantly reaffirms the use of the experiences in your life, the people in your life, co-workers, spouse, family members. It encourages you to, practice with them, meaning that, like, by practice means, what I mean is the course talks about forgiveness a lot. That's a big theme in the Course in Miracles. So every day you're going to have opportunities to practice forgiveness. There are going to be times that people, family members, spouse, coworkers, there are going to be times that they frustrate you, to put it nicely, and so you have to practice forgiveness. So the course encourages you to use your day-to-day life, use the people in your day-to-day life. Well, use is not a good word to say, use people, but they become, in a sense, your teachers for that day, because they are giving you an opportunity to practice a spiritual principle that the course is suggesting. Especially, they're giving you an opportunity to practice your lesson for the day in the workbook. So another reason is that I love it is that, I started reading this book 3 years ago. It's 2020 right now. It's almost about to be 2021. So you can say for 4 years, because 2017 January is when I started reading this book. And we're in December of 2020, so it's about to be 4 years that I started reading this book. And in 4 years, I've only grown to be more amused and amazed by the depth of the knowledge in this book. It's truly amazing. It only seems to get deeper and deeper and deeper as I practice it. So, like, you read it the first time, and seeds get planted in your mind. You try to water those seeds by doing the workbook lessons every day. And over time, over like the course of years, it's like it just becomes a living, breathing library of pure divine knowledge that feeds your soul. And every day, miracles, changes of mind, changes of behavior, changes in who you are as a person, and the quality of life that you have. And by quality of life, I don't mean like you're like richer and this and that, but like I'm saying you just have genuine peace in your life on a day-to-day basis, way more than you did before you start doing these lessons. It's not just about the reading. That doesn't do anything. Yes, it does actually, but it doesn't change and create the genuine experience that the course is trying to get you to have. It doesn't really do that until you absolutely start practicing it. And practicing it when it's hard to practice it. Practicing forgiveness when it's hard to practice it, because when things are amazing, it's like you're not really getting genuine practice. It's like the best practices for an athlete are the hardest practices. That's when, if you're a basketball player, if you're Michael Jordan, the practice level has to be so high that actually matches your skills. If you're just like, practicing with beginners, that's not really helping you get better. It's those hard practices with the best players, the best competitors. Those are the practices that actually help you the most. And just like that metaphor of basketball practice, our life, the hardest periods in it, the hardest people in it are the best practices if you're a student of the Course in Miracles, or really, honestly, any spiritual path. Because the moments that we don't want to do our spiritual practice the most, those moments, those hard moments that we want to fall back into our ego and me against you and us against them and duality thinking, those are the moments that you are best, they're the best suited for using and utilizing as spiritual practice. So the Course in Miracles, like I said, is super practical. It turns your actual life um, into practice, and it just gets deeper and deeper over time. And another thing I wanted to talk about the course. So the course uses a lot of Christian terminology, and it's important to note that this course, it's said that it's dictated by Jesus. So on the cover of the course, there's no author. There's actually only a scribe for the course, so meaning that someone was a channel, and the spirit that they channeled, the person who dictated the words, it's supposed to be Jesus. And most people are skeptical, as they should be. And you say, whatever, Jesus, what are you talking about? Some people might even say it's blasphemy. But when you start reading it and you really like start taking in the words, you're like, there's no way just the simply purely human mind, you know, dictated these words. Like there's just like no way. The level of uh, profoundness in this text is just way beyond any ordinary human mind to conceive of and to dictate, and just it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it's just amazing the level of depth in that text and in that book. So, um, one of the things I want to say is that it uses a lot of Christian terminology, and I would consider myself a Christian, but sometimes as spiritual seekers, Christianity has so much depth, but sometimes as Christianity is understood by most Christians, as is taught by most churches, the level of depth and the mystical depth in Christianity oftentimes is lost. And oftentimes it's not even getting anywhere near close to level of Jesus himself, and like the level that he was trying to have us experience, the level of spiritual understanding that he was trying to get us to have. The way Christianity is taught most often doesn't even get near to that. Why? Because most people have never had the spiritual experiences that Jesus was trying to get his apostles and his followers to have. Most people never got that way, and most teachers of religion never had those experiences. So you can only teach what you've had. That's why Manual for Teachers only is at the last of the book. Like you have to go through that, learn and have the experience, and then you can actually even call yourself a teacher of A Course in Miracles or whatever it might be. But the reason this book is so good for Christians and non-Christians, it's not supposed to be for any religion, but for Christians who are looking and seeking the depth contained within Christianity, I highly recommend the Course in Miracles, because it starts feeding your soul and nourishing your spirit with spirit of like I tried to like make that sentence be super deep, like spirit, living waters of the spirit fountain. I tried to make it too deep and I kind of lost it. But what I was just trying to say is that the Course in Miracles has the depth that Christianity oftentimes misses to reach. And so for Christians, I think this book, for Christians who are open-minded to be being shown differently than maybe some of the concepts that they learn, and have some of those concepts like salvation and the second coming, have some of those things be shown to them in a different light. So if you're open to that, I think you would absolutely enjoy it. And it brings the non-duality that Christianity had in the very beginning, and Jesus had, and Jesus taught. It brings that back into Christianity, because a lot of times, a lot of teachings of Jesus are non-dual in nature, but Christianity lost it because it's a lot easier to be us against them mindset, and most people have only had that experience. They've never felt the realities of non-duality that Jesus lived and lived out and tried to teach other people. Most people have never had that, and most teachers of Christianity never had that, so they could not teach that to other people as Jesus taught to his apostles. And so over time, that non-dual nature of Christianity kind of got lost. And the Course in Miracles helps bring that back, because it's truly a non-dual path um, and it can lead you to some profound levels of depth, and experience of reality as it is in its essence, and as divinity is in its essence. So I can't recommend it enough. I truly think that even if it's not the path for you, because spiritual paths are as unique as the food you like. Not everybody likes the same kind of foods. You know, what your favorite food might not be at all a favorite food for somebody else, or they might actually hate that book, or I mean food in this metaphor. But spiritual texts are like that, are like food. Like you have to taste, it's like a buffet. Like you have to go to a spiritual buffet, have a little bit of this, have a little bit of that, and see which one just like speaks to your soul deeply and profoundly. Not the path that all your friends are following, not the paths that the popular people say you should follow. Just go and and try these on like pairs of shoes for yourself and see which one just fits you the best. And so I highly encourage you and can't recommend this book enough. So go and try it out. Go and read it and really be with it for a little bit and see if it's the path for you. In this video, I really hope that people who are just embarking on a spiritual path come across this video and give A Course in Miracles a try, because it truly might be the path for you. And especially, I feel like 2020 going to 2021, 2020 was big awakening year for a lot of people. So a lot of people are, I feel like, starting to want to have a spiritual path in their life and are seeking for spiritual paths, the different spiritual texts that are out there. They're seeking and looking to find that right path for them. And so I think the Course in Miracles might just be that path for you. I certainly hope that you check it out either way. Obviously, I gain nothing from whether it is or not, and it's purely a personal thing for you. But I hope that you check it out, because I truly, every day that I read that, I'm just so grateful that I found this. And it's just like, I mean, I've wanted so many of my friends to find it too, in whatever path for them. But it's like, find a spiritual path that just speaks to your soul on a day-to-day basis. Because when you have something like that in your life, every single experience, every single day can become a lot more profound, and your level of peace, because you have the answers that you need to deal with the day-to-day circumstances of your life, the level of peace that you have increases tremendously, because you have that path, that spiritual foundation, that spiritual rock that you can go back to time and time again in many different circumstances and find answers that you seek. So I hope that you go check it out. If you have already read The Course in Miracles, if you're a student of it, please let me know in the comment section below. If you are interested in spiritual topics, I make all my videos geared towards spirituality in general. In many of its different facets, because that's really what interests me tremendously. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe to my channel. If you enjoyed this video, if it was helpful for you in any way, please like it. And if you started reading A Course in Miracles as a result of this video, please let me know in the comments as well, because it would mean the world to me that I played a tiny part on a really beautiful spiritual path beginning for you. So thank you for watching this. Again, my name is PJ, and I will be back with more videos on this channel very soon. Thank you, and have a good day or night. Bye.